What up, you fellas? It's your boy Wolf Said the Engineer, and this is Kerbal Basic Guides. So, last episode we have built the simple and basic SSTO using MK2 part, and in this episode I'm gonna build in a massive, rather huge, and more complicated SSTO. The purpose of this is the basic STTO we build is having a rather small orbit and a smaller cargo bay. Now in this one we will have a bigger cargo bay, bigger say cabin for the crew, and yeah, it's gonna be heavy. So we'll start off with the MK3 cockpit. I will try to make the design as simple or easy as possible, and let's get building. I'll see you when it's done. Alright fellas, so this is it. From top to bottom we have the MK3 cockpit. I add some reaction wheel here, although it's useless because I'm using some mod which remove the power from the reaction wheel. As you can see, this reaction wheel give us only 0.2 of torque. We have a cargo bay, medium size, and in the cargo bay we have docking port, reaction wheel, a battery. I set this battery not to use it during the flight, we will use it in space. We have solar panels, 2 of them. Make jib out of laziness, obviously. Crew cabin, the capacity of passenger model is 16 and the rest is fuel. I've put an adapter here to bring it back to 2.5. I don't want to overkill it with the engine. So we have only 6 engine, they are Rabers. So we will not carry any dead weight with us, especially in space. If you normally make a design which use 2 engine or 2 type of engine, and you will switch the use upon going up, it's inefficient because basically you are carrying dead weight, especially in space. We have a lot of controlling surfaces, as you can see, because when you build an SSTO, especially the heavy kind, upon going up or down, the center of mass would shift. So this will keep it in place, especially on the return. Okay, we have some, I put some extra air intake here and pre-cooler. The actual point of it is for the wheels, because we want a wider range of wheel, and it should be at least a meter down, so we have a ground clearance. I'm using adjustable landing gear, but in normal landing gear it would be until here, which is okay as well. The wing is as usual in a swept wing formation or a delta wing formation, and we have a lot of air surfaces. So as always, when you design a wing, in the end of it, especially the last part, stow it up a little bit, so when you're flying, your flight path would be rather stable. I put 2 also here to prevent the airplane from yawing. At the same time, also keep it going straight forward. Actually, we don't need them. Alright, so time to make sure this bird does fly. Okay, so we are on the runway. Ironically, as you can see, the wheel or the suspension on the back wheel is very heavy. Those wheels, by the way, they have suspension, which I love about them. They're very heavy because the aircraft is heavy right now, but upon landing or upon coming back, it would be okay. So, pre-checklist, everything looks a go. And our pilot's Valentina. Where is Jeb? I'm sorry I asked. Okay, engine starts. Those 6 engines should be more than enough, but let's see. Whoa, whoa, whoa. What I love about the Raber engine is they have a good gimbaling range. Unlike any space engine, which is more or less stupid, those engine does have a good range. So among our flight, or especially in space, we will be able to control this using the engines only. Okay. So the flight path. The flight path is to spend at least 3,500 units of liquid fuel, and then we should accelerate, or we should by that time accelerate up all the way. Are we floating? Okay, we're airborne. Yep. Okay, good design. I approve of this shit. So the flight path, we should burn at least 3,500 units of liquid fuel, and by that time we will accelerate using the oxidizer. So we will basically switch into diopropellant rather than monopropellant. I don't actually think we will need that much. Climbing angle would be 15 degree. Actually, it could be more. We are accelerating. As long as we are accelerating, that means we can have a bigger angle of attack for the wings. So I'm setting up for 20. We are rather still accelerating, but on a low grade. Okay, this is alright for now. So I'll see you when we reach the edge of space. Alright, welcome back, fellas. That sound you hear was this supersonic boom. So we have just reached 277 meter per second. We spent only up to now 2,500 of our liquid fuel, and we are reaching our optimum acceleration altitude. So I'm reducing back to say 10 degrees for now. Once we reach 500 meter per second, we'll pitch down to 5 degrees. We are accelerating at 1g, but the drag is also taking 1g out of us. So the goal is to reach as fast as possible, as high as possible, before we switch to the propellant mode. Right now we are not accelerating fast enough, but we are going to. As you can see, the thrust on the engine is becoming more and more, and we are still climbing up. Pop is jumping up and down. He know what shit he put himself into, but Valentina as usual. Love that future. Say hello to Jeb when you die. Okay, so acceleration now is becoming like wow, mate. So we have spent our goal of liquid fuel, 3,500. Luckily, I do have a spare extra of around, I don't know, maybe 100 or 2, so I'm gonna give it some time. Whoa, 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 chill. I have the flight indicator mode, so it kind of interfere with make jib and make the flight is a little bit bad. So we have to disable the roll from make jib. We are still accelerating, we're still going, we are actually going very fast. And we are climbing rather rapidly. So our engine right now is putting 250. Wow. Awesome, awesome. Alright, so we have reached 1000 meter per second. 1100 meter per second. The best thing about it is those engine has a very high altitude of operating. So right now we are at 22 kilometer, and those engines still putting out a lot of thrust. Okay, now it's a good time to switch back to the propellant and pull up, I guess. Yep. Switching mode, full throttle. Pitch would be 25 degree. Fix the rolling angle. Let's go. Now what we are doing now, we are bleeding some speed and using the air speed to push ourselves up. In other words, it's complicated. So in other words, we would just use the speed which we gained to going horizontally. So instead of going forward, we are going up using that speed which we gained. I will engage the battery now. Open up the cargo bay. I said open up the cargo bay. I don't know what happened. I actually know what happened. I think we run out of battery. That's why we cannot open up the cargo bay. So until we start gaining some... Okay, cargo bay is open. Engage the battery, close the cargo bay, and we have just lost the solar panel accidentally. It's okay, we do have enough power for these. We are reaching 1400 kilometer per hour, 1400 meter per second. Our peri-apo-ups is 45 kilometer, which is not enough. Our aim is at least 70 kilometer. We do have enough fuel for that. We actually have enough fuel for at least 100 kilometer orbit, maybe even 150. And well, we actually reached our orbital velocity. So our orbit now is 55. And we are still accelerating. Let's time accelerate a little bit. Get our orbit into order. I'm aiming for 70,000 to 80,000. So this is the 70,000. And I killed the engine, pitching down to 0 degree to reduce the drag, if any. Well, we don't have drags actually. So next up is to set up the orbit. So what we need is around 400 meter per second delta V, and we have reached space. So what we need next is 400 meter per second delta V to achieve the orbit. Let's start the burn. Hooray! So we made the orbit 73 by 88. Now, for all the obvious purposes, I'm going to return the plane now. But as you can see, we do have loads of fuel left now. In delta V language, we have 1000 delta V. Yep, that's how much we have extra. We have 1000 delta V. The reason we have that much extra is we don't have weight, we don't have cargo, not for today at least, and obviously we did not aim for the orbit that this is designed to. This is designed for heavy orbit and heavy liftoff, so it's like 100 to 150 kilometer. And well, obviously again we did not make it that much because it's just a test run, but in the future we might do. So right now it's time to plan our return journey. So this is the Kerbal Space Center. I want to land on the runway for a change. So let's get the nav ball up, and we are heading to our retrograde. Actually, we don't need to head to the retrograde, we can just adjust from here. Alright, so right now the trajectory has been set. Time accelerate to our re-entry. For all the obvious purposes, we are going to have a re-entry along Kerbin all the way back to the Kerbal Space Center, which is basically gonna take a while, but with this design on the wingspan which we have, it's gonna be rather awesome because we won't even feel the re-entry. See, even Bill and Bob believe it. I'm lying, mate. I'm lying. So I'm expecting a 10 degree again, 10 degree pitching up, and we'll just glide through the atmosphere until we reach our destination. I doubt that we would go back to space, although it's kind of scary because well, we actually might go back to space. I might do some crazy maneuver to reduce our speed while we're at it, but the point is eventually we will land, so there's nothing to worry about. Only thing is I want to land on the runway, otherwise this might crash. We do have a ground clearance with those wheel of around 100 meters, so wherever you landed you do have enough space, say, to land it somewhere. Okay, so I'm gonna finish the re-entry and I'll see you guys once we are on our final approach. Alright, welcome back fellas. So I have pushed our airplane downwards along the hallway actually, and right now we are above Kerbin Desert. The best angle I could find is 15 degree because this is an overkill. The best re-entry you could have is 45 degrees, just like the space shuttle, but based on our current speed and the distance to the runway, we don't want to pass it. We actually might pass it. So I might have to do again some crazy maneuvers, pointing downward. And obviously again pointing upward. What I'm doing now is I'm using the whole body of the airplane as an air brake, so we will lose the speed. Hopefully we will not lose control. Okay, so how we doing now? Good. So right now with the 10-degree climbing angle, I would assume that we would reach the runway. We run out of battery, but we're still in control because we have pilots, obviously, and we have a lot of controlling surfaces. We still have a lot of fuel. I don't know, we might even make another run for it. And our speed is 1600 meter per second, climbing down at 100 meter per second. Okay, Valentina is happy. I'm gonna again change the degree to 20, and I'll see you on the runway, fellas. Alright, so we're back on our final approach. MechJib is acting crazy, so I am taking manual control. Sorry fellas, you might end up dead, I know. So I wanna go like as down as possible before we start our hold for the attitude. I'm guessing we will fly at around 1000 meter high, and then we will start our descent slowly into the runway. Now ironically I forgot to add some lights on this thing, but again, in your design just do it the way you see it fit. Okay, final approach. We have good. Alright, now we will initiate the hold. We want to hold our airplane, and obviously it's over controlled. Now I wanna kill some bitching on this. Alright, so ramp up the engine a little bit, and we are on hold. So where is the runway? We are heading straight to the runway. Now we can see the runway. So I'm taking manual control totally now. I killed the SAS, so let's float in the air. I'm going 1/3 of thrust because again we don't have much of power. So gears down, brakes are on. By the way, I forgot to add air brakes. No biggie. So final approach. This is gonna be one hell of a landing. We are going at say supersonic speed. It's always better to land your plane say manually and without SAS, because it will give you the feeling of flying an airplane really. So final approach, we are looking good. We are going down, supersonic landing, final alignment, and we missed the runway. Okay, there we go. Touchdown. Okay, pumpy touchdown. No! We crashed it. Yep, obviously you don't want to land at a supersonic speed. But that was awesome. I love the effect on this. We actually saved the cargo. Looking at the bright side, we covered something out of the cost of it. Alright, but unfortunately that's it for today, fellas. If you like today's video, don't forget to hit that like button and let me know in the comments below, what do you think should we do next? What's the most hardest thing in Kerbal Space Program for you and you might need guidance in. Until then, stay tuned.